Hey guys, this is Joel from the Fincastle Pokemon Gym. Over the next few weeks, while everybody is giving you their here's the best new deck from the newest set spiel, most of which they'll never play or ever come back to, I'm going to try to give you something different and give you post-rotation updates to my two favorite decks that survive. My third one, Hisuian's Zoroark V-Star, is dead, can't resurrect that one, but I've been working on Chien-Pao EX and Okidogi EX. I'm going to make separate videos for both of them, so these will be a little shorter, but I think you'll like where they are going, especially if you are a fan of either deck. Today is just Chien-Pao. You already know the card, so let's just get right to the list. I don't know how many games I've played with Chien-Pao where I just spam Radiant Greninja and snipe everything before they evolve. Man, if he did keep that in check, you could always switch back and forth between it and Iron Hands, Chien-Pao, Radiant Greninja. It was a great box deck. Had an answer for everything. Manaphy's gone too, so we're going to see how those changes affect this deck going forward. I'm going to try this for these next two videos, and hopefully this will help you see and understand the changes easier. So let's start with the Pokemon first. From the old list, I added a Blood Moon Ursaluna EX because there is a higher prevalence of metal types at the moment. Chien-Pao EX is of course weak to metal, so he gives you a beefy alternate attacker, but only if that 240 damage from his attacks nets you a one hit. If not, I think you're better off to just go for the one hits with Chien-Pao and try to stay ahead of the prize race. But it's not that hard to charge Ursaluna early, even if you have to pay that full energy cost. It's only one more than Iron Hands, and I do that very often in Chien-Pao on the second turn. Of course, mentioning Iron Hands, he's in there just like before with that one lightning energy, so he can get you an extra knockout of something small, or an extra prize card off of something big that you just have to finish off. Now you can see I filled out the line of Excalibur with stage 1 so that if you go second, you can play for your technical machine, the evolution one, and just evolve them that way and still get to a second turn Excalibur. Now I replaced Radiant Greninja with the Wellspring Mask Ogerpon EX, and he definitely has some utility here, a little bit different than how Radiant Greninja used to work. He gives you that same sniping power with Torrential Pump, but with better numbers than Greninja, and the energy shuffles in if you choose to snipe the bench. In some scenarios that's okay, some scenarios that's not as good. You also have the option to use his attack Sob and trap and stall someone if they don't have a good switching option, which is great against decks that rely on Latias EX to retreat because sometimes they don't have a lot of other outs, sometimes they don't have any, so you can trap whatever you want to until you're ready to carry on. I think the last thing to highlight is Revavroom. Older Chien-Pao lists have played B-Barrel at times and it functioned well with him, and I think Revavroom is a better version of B-Barrel in here. He has 20 more HP, so Dragapult can't take him out in 2 turns the same way it could B-Barrel. And that requirement to use his ability that you have to discard energy to draw is similar to Greninja, which I like, because once your energy is in the discard pile, it is easier to get back with superior energy retrieval. And of course there's a Pheasantipede X here to give you a little bit extra draw power, and he also has an extra snipe attack if things just get really funky on you and you have to turn to him. Now the supporter line in here is very simple, as you can see. Arven is the Irida replacement. It's not as good as Irida in here, but it's not too far behind. And I added a couple of Draytons to supplement that. Drayton can be better at times, but it is random, so it's not as reliable as Irida or Arven. Then we close out with just one Iono and Boss's Orders. Moving on to the items, there's not much variance in this item line from the original list. I did switch to Unfair Stamp because sometimes this is a more deliberate deck and he turns slower than the old version, but the Stamp and Iono, if used at the right times, can give you that chance to catch back up if you do fall behind. And there are the aforementioned technical machines to get Excalibur and to get Revavroom if you need to. And I threw in a Bravery Charm to try and extend the life of whoever seems the most important in your matchup. Now, whether that's Iron Hands or Ursaluna, Ogerpon, or Chien-Pao, just depends on what you're playing against. But there the list is, in all its post-rotation glory. Feel free to post any tweaks in the comments, and let's play some games. Now this first match is going to be against this Ends Zoroark deck, which is a pretty new kind of box style deck. Skipped a turn where we just got our basics out. Back to them, they use the technical machine to evolve to Zoroark and Darmanitan on their side. Playing nest ball, get down a Chien-Pao. I'm going to use Drayton. It gives me a Excalibur, and I will grab my Ono because they've got that little buddy trying to do item lock there. So I can go ahead and get to my Excalibur and just end my turn. And as predicted, the Itchy Pollen do 10 damage and keep me from playing items. So I will just Iono and see what we can get from that. I do get my Technical Machine and an Energy, and that's good enough. I'm going to go get my second Chien-Pao down. Gotta dance this energy up. I could just attach it from my hand. And then I'm going to use the TM Evolution to get Revavroom down, because I am definitely going to need a way to draw as this game goes on. And back to their turn. They send up the Ends Zoroark with a Binding Mochi that they poison with Peacherunt. Hit me for 210. Just barely misses the knockout there. I'm going to switch my Iron Hands back. It gives me a chance to kind of unleash the floodgates because that little item lock can't last forever, thank goodness. I'll get 2 energies with my Vessel. Then we'll use Chien-Pao's ability to get 2 more. I've already got 1 down. So I have enough to take out this End Zoroark. He's only 280 and he's already taken 10 damage from poisoning himself. The Binding Mochi on that does make that much more interesting because that 40 damage boost gives him some potential there. With the Arven, I'll go ahead and get a Superior Energy Retrieval for my next turn and just get another TM out. So I have something to toss. And then we will burn all the energy off the board to get to 300 and knock out this End Zoroark from my first 2 prizes. From that, I'll be taking Water Energy and an Arctibax. They actually catch that Iron Hands and knock it out with the Buddy. So take 2 prizes and put me back under item lock, which is kind of gross. Not much else I can do, so I'm just going to sob. If it weren't for the Peacherunt, I could lock them in to where they just be stuck with that little Buddy there, but they do use it to switch out the Ends Zoroark. And then they copy that Darmanitan attack that does, it's a double 90, 90 active, 90 to the bench, and knock out my Frigibax. I'm going to use my Super Rod, put back in Iron Hands, and 2 Water Energies. Use Stretcher, get another energy into my hand. Then I'm going to play this hand down so I can use my Revavroom. With that Ultra Ball, I'll go and get Fezzidipity, so I'm going to actually be able to Revavroom for 6. Then I'll get Fezzidipity and draw for 3 more. So we will toss the Water Energy with trusty little engine there first. Get all kinds of good stuff. That Darmanitan seems to be like what they're leaning on. So I'm going to, while I've still got my Ogerpon, I'm going to bring it active. I can knock it out because it's weak to water. And then I can take out something else on the bench as well. So with Superior Energy Retrieval, I'm going to toss that Arctibax and a Poffin. Get 4 waters back. I'm going to spread this around a little bit with my Excalibur. Get 2 more on my Ogerpon. I'm going to get 2 on this Chien-Pao with the Charm. And then I'm just going to save 1 energy for next turn so I have that available. And then we're going to Torrential Pump. Knock out the Darmanitan. And I'm going to take out that Zora. A little bit overkill there, but it seems like that's the second best target to hit. I can one-shot the Zoroark. There's no sense in wasting damage there. That gets me 2 prizes, get a Water and a Lightning. Yeah, interesting. They attached that Reversal Energy to Reshiram. I guess not realizing that it only works on evolutions because they threw up some angry emojis and then swapped out with the Peacherunt to the End Zoroark and knocked out my Wellspring Ogerpon. Got them down to 1 prize, but I've got all sorts of resources here to just blow this Zoroark up. I'll get 2 energies down, use Shivery Chill, get 2 more. That gives me 6 in play, that's all I need. I'll use Excalibur, get these last 2 down. No sense in prolonging it, I could do more. But then we will just burn all 6 of these for 300 and take the last 2. Pretty interesting game. End Zoroark is definitely one that has my interest. It's got a lot of possibilities there. I'll take those last 2 for that win. And this last game is against Dragapult. I really cut this one down because it looks like people are struggling to figure out how to play it without Rotom and the 4 Seal Stone and things that made it so much easier to play. And this was a very long game, so I'm just going to skipping ahead to my first knockout. This was on turn 2, and it was just a 180 damage to take out a Mew. I guess that's trying to get a little bit extra draw power in that deck, but pretty easy target. Take my first 2 off of that one. And off those prizes, I got a Poffin and a Frigibax. They only had a 1 energy on their Dragapults. They caught up my Revavroom and hit him for 70. I guess just trying to stall for a little bit. I got my energies out with Superior Energy Retrieval. Retreated the Revavroom. Saved 1 so I could draw with Revavroom, which is really liking him in this deck. I was able to draw on the 6 there. I got Superior Energy Retrieval. Then we will use the Shivery Chill to get 1 more. Already have 1 on the field, and by the time we dance these other 5 on, that is a 1-shot on the Dragapult. Just have to get them all there. I guess for reference, it is easier to just, if you have to burn them all, just put them on the Chien-Pao. As you can see here, I have to select them from all over the board. When you spread them around, it does speed the game up a little bit if you do it that way. I'll take 2 more off of the 1-shot off that Dragapult, get an Orders and a TM Evolution. They burn the Dusknoir and kill my Revavroom. I guess they see how much I'm relying on that. That gives me another prize card. They ended up with their Sparkling Crystal on their Dreepy on the bench, and they couldn't get a Fire Energy, so they hit me for 70 again. This is a turn where I kind of I should have played my Super Rod before I used my Chien-Pao. I used my Chien-Pao search, there wasn't any energy in, so I just put energy back in and passed. They were stuck with what they had. They've got that rescue board on that Dragapult. Hit me for another 70. I got an Arven. Arven lets me get Superior Energy Retrieval, which is all that I will need to finish this one off. You remember I put 3 back in with Super Rod on the turn before. So this time on Shivery Chill, I actually have energy to get out. I just had to pass that 1 turn the turn before, because I wasn't thinking that went all the way through, but it didn't really seem to matter. Here I'm just going to dance all of these onto the Chien-Pao, and then I will 1-shot this last Dragapult for another 360. I'm sure this deck is going to get better Dragapult as they figure out how to play it without all the good stuff that is in it at the moment. But for now, at least that version seemed pretty clunky and kind of hard to navigate. I may not be anywhere near perfection on this list yet, but I think these are the functional pieces for Chien-Pao to move forward. Revavroom, I think, is essential, and Wellspring Ogerpon EX is too good to pass on as well. But there will surely be some cards in the upcoming sets that will offer some upgrades. I haven't really looked in depth at the Journey set yet because it is mostly one of those kind of mini deck sets with cards that are specific to certain Pokemon, kind of like the old Team Plasma series from back in the day. But I'm sure there are a card or 2 in the pipeline that will help this one out. So give this deck a whirl, play with the card counts, and see if you can find a way to keep Chien-Pao EX competitive. I wanted to mention real quick, Randy and I just posted a 3-part Appalachian Dim Sum episode on what we believe to be the most mishandled film properties. So if you're like us and you grew up on Terminator and Aliens, Predator, and the Matrix films, stuff like that, be sure to check that one out. As always, thank you for watching. Drop a like, hit subscribe, and help me keep this channel growing. Until next time, be not afraid. Later.